Hey, what's up, everybody? It's another episode of the Pixel Report. It's a show where we play old video games. Play an old video game every week and then talk about it. Yeah. So I'm your host, John Schoeneman. I host the show every week. Host the show. Talking about old video games. We got Aiden here. Aiden?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey.
I'm ready to talk. School is weird to be in.
Yeah, we're recording at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
There's people
That's where we are.
sitting about reading on their comps, probably tuning into the live stream.
Probably.
To be honest.
Yeah, definitely. What else would they be doing?
They're like, why are these chumps like talking to themselves?
Yeah.
Why aren't they talking to me?
Yep, that's what happens. We got drinks. We've all got beverages.
I don't have a beverage.
Aiden doesn't have one.
Aiden and I are sharing a vanilla Coke.
I'm not sharing that.
I have some tea. It's pretty good.
Well, I'm pretty thirsty, you guys.
I offered you some. You said no. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Well, I guess we're going to try, I don't know, messing around with some opening segments for the show.
If you have any opening segments ideas, send them in to P.O. Box 99 at Orlando, Florida at our
Yes.
Nickelodeon studios.
Please write them care of Pixel Report, care of John at Pixel Report, please.
But yeah, no, if you have
Send
some,
them to me. Don't send them to the other members of the crew. Just
Yeah.
send them to me.
By the way, John did not introduce me, but I'm Eric.
Yeah, we got. I'm your host, John Schoeneman. We got Eric Kirsting here.
Yeah.
We got In Keys here.
Yeah.
We already did that.
Alec isn't here.
Alex not here. I did.
He's stuck in Merrill.
So we have like these images that go up on the stream that it's like shows all of our faces, and I X'd out Alex's face. So
All right. So
now you know why that's the way it is.
until we find some sort of opening segment we really like and we decide to do every week, we're going to have this traveling opening segment. And what that means is we're just going to do a different opening segment every week. We're just talk about something. Because that's what you do on podcasts. You can't really do much else. We can't dance for you or anything.
Oh, we can dance.
But we can dance. I just want
They
you to
can-
know that.
They'll just hear it.
They'll hear whooshing sounds.
Yeah, like this.
That's John doing the robot.
That's what it sounds like when I do the robot.
Yeah.
It sounds like strange scuffling against the microphone.
So today's opening segment is,
Anyway.
what's something you've been playing lately?
Yeah, so this will be the part of the show where we talk about new games, maybe, because we're probably playing newer games.
Just
Right.
something we've been playing, something that's not Pixel Report related.
Yeah.
In the future, this might be, what are you listening to? What's your favorite, Indian food? I don't know. Just, we're going with it. Who wants to start? I got something if nobody else has got something.
You can start, Eric.
All right, here's a game I've been playing. Audience, I recommend this game. It's called Exapunks.
Hey, Exapunks, I heard of that game.
Exapunks
What's that?
is a puzzle game
Okay.
where you have like these little robots and like they're like you're infiltrating servers. It's like set in this weird like revisionist 90s thing where like computers are really like, it's kind of like you're like
Spit
a
it
hacker.
out. What
in
is
the
it?
90s. You're a hacker in the 90s, basically.
90s hacker.
You're a 90s hacker, and
So it's
you
like
have,
that. Is it like that movie, Hacker?
Hackers.
Yes,
Hackers.
Yes, it's basically the movie tie-in game, or the game tie-in to the movie. But anyway, so what you do in the game is you have these little robots and you code them to complete tasks within like other servers. To it's like if you want to like have the ATM spit out a bunch of money, you have to like program the robot to be able to go to the thing and then like interact with the server in order to like dump the money. It's kind of like complex when you're talking about it, but it really starts working when you actually get into playing it. And I just found this game to be really, really enjoyable as a puzzle game, and it's really satisfying whenever you beat a level. So that's a game that I've been playing lately.
All right. I got a game. I'm playing a couple games.
Yeah, what are you playing right now?
I'm playing Metro Last Light, which is tangentially related to today's old game that we played that we'll talk about, but we'll get to that later. So I'm playing Metro Last Light. That game's still good. The new Metro is coming out soon, which is why I'm playing Metro Last Light. Playing some Tetris Effect, which is
Tetranomenon.
the Tetranomenon game
You can only do one
of
game.
2018. Tetris Effect.
Now that game is Tetranominal.
Yeah.
If
most
you say
def.
all the games you're playing, you won't have any games to talk about next week.
Maybe that's true. I don't know. I play a new game every week. Anyway, Aiden, what are you playing?
I'm just making fun of you.
I'm playing possibly the most polar opposite of Exapunks, which is just Diablo 3. And I hit A a lot, and sometimes I hit ZR. I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch console,
Yeah.
also known as the NSC.
Diablo 3 is like barely a new game anymore.
Yeah, well,
It's like Skyrim.
basically a pixel board game. So.
Yeah, basically. What year did that come out? 2012? 2011?
10-year gap.
I don't
Let's
know
see.
what it is. But that game's pretty fun still. I picked up this really
2012.
cool hammer today. That's
Alright.
a barbarian-only hammer. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It does 32k damage per
Whoa.
hit on crit.
Dang, son.
Whoa. That's a lot of damage.
Okay, so those are some new games. How about we get into the old stuff now?
The
How about we
oldest.
jump into the old?
Let's do it. Who picked this week's piece of trash?
I picked- Hey, let's you know.
I'm just kidding. every week we say something like that
Let's
when
not
we start
let's
out.
not jump to conclusions here. I picked it. It's called Firestarter. Anybody heard of Firestarter? Nope. All right.
There's
cool.
a movie called Firestarter. Did you know that?
I know the song by the
There's
Prodigy.
a movie.
called
There's a song by
Firestarter.
Prodigy. There's a game too. You guys want to know about it?
Yeah, let's do it. Tell me about it,
I
John.
really want to know about it. Actually.
Firestarter is a first-person shooter for the personal computer released in March 2004. It was developed by GSC Game World. Do you know who that is?
I'm gonna guess that it is a developer that went on to create Metro.
Not necessarily. Well, they're not that closely related.
Oh,
They did make a
they
Stalker,
made-
right?
Well, they were the studio that made the Stalker games. Yeah. So people from this studio went on to make to start the 4A Games studio, which then made Metro.
Do you know what country the GSC Game
Yeah,
World
they're
is?
a Ukrainian developer.
Yeah, they're from the Ukraine. That's not who made. No, Polish. That's CP.
CD Project
CD
Red.
Oh, yeah, CD
Projekt
Projekt Red.
What are
They're
you,
Polish.
racist against Eastern Europeans?
No. I'm just saying there's a lot of good games that come from Eastern Europe and a lot of good developers. And I think it's worth talking about
there's
Eastern European game developers.
There's this developer.
Jeez, Aiden.
There's
Just jump on that
There's-
racist button.
This developer and there's CD Project Red.
I think there's more.
CD Projekt Red.
Project. There's probably more. I don't know. I can't think of any more.
I
off
can't
the
think
top
of any
my head.
Russian developers though.
Russians only play Dota.
All Russian games are developed by Putin, so and they're all like pro Putin propaganda.
They're Putin dating sims.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna look up Russian game studios, but you guys can keep talking.
All right. Yeah. So the GSC Game World, they were the studio that made this game Firestarter, and yeah, they made the Stalker games, which that was like a pretty popular series of like survival shooter,
Cult following.
like role playing games with definitely a cult following around those. They made like a bunch of RTS games, like this Cossacks series.
Oh, I know that series.
Yeah, so they made like all those. American Conquest. They made a game called Codename Outbreak, which was like a $20 budget shooter. Sounds about right.
Sounds like a zombie game or something.
Yeah. And then they made this game, a couple other things, but then this game Firestarter, which is,
This is where the rubber hits the road.
It is a video game.
it's a video game. It sure is. It is, like I said, kind of related to Metro. That's why I picked it, because I like Metro, and I wanted to.
Just
a
like
pretty-
that time we played Red Dead Revolver.
It's a pretty good thing that they went on to make more story-based games like Metro 2033 and Last Light.
Yeah.
Because if the next game they made after Metro Last Light was a game like this, people wouldn't care at all. People would forget their name.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably true.
the only reason we're playing Firestarter is because John likes Metro. I'd also like to know.
Hey, I like Metro already.
No, I
bad at
love
it.
Metro. I'm just saying that's why we're playing it this week.
I just like to pick games that are like sort of related to new stuff coming out that I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's topical.
Sometimes I like to do that.
It's topical.
This
old
is like
picks.
this is like barely topical. I'm really like forcing the topic here, but that's okay.
I'm just saying we often talk about Japan, and this is just really turned into Eastern European because I forgot that Tetris was developed by Alexei Pajitnov,
okay.
which is and he was a Russian game
He was Russian?
developer.
All right.
So
yeah, and there was a whole big deal with that guy. Did you
Yeah.
guys know that?
I don't know.
The Russian government didn't give him his money from
Oh.
Tetris.
yeah,
So
that
for
sounds about
years
right.
and years and years,
I
he was
think
poor.
yeah,
That's
I remember hearing about
communism, man.
All right, well, let's talk about this game. How about
that. I want to start talking about politics instead. Can we do that?
let's
No.
talk about Russia?
No. Yeah, Firestarter. Okay, here we go. It's like I said, it's a first-person shooter. It's set in a virtual reality world where the player has to fight off waves of enemies in a computer simulation gone wrong. There are basic role-playing game mechanics, multiple characters to choose from, and other stuff too. Do you want to hear about the other stuff?
Yeah.
You don't want to hear it? All right.
Let's do it.
This game, Firestarter, features unique gameplay with tooth-grinding action. There are 6 unique characters to choose from. There is 16 levels in 4 different worlds and over 30 types of enemies, including demons, techno monsters, and symbiotes.
So, quick,
It's symbiote.
quick question: what character do you guys all pick?
I picked Cyborg.
Ooh,
I picked the gunslinger.
I picked the agent because that was the only female
Oh.
one.
Was that the only? I couldn't even tell from the character models.
Cyborg is a female. You just
really?
you just misgendered
It's a
it.
female
Oh,
cyborg.
whoopsie
No,
daisy.
I don't know.
Evidently, if you play, I don't know if it's Cyborg or the monster, you can wield weapons. Like
I didn't
Wield
see that.
4
with
weapons
the
at
Cyborg.
once.
I like quad wheeling.
that's like, I guess that's like one of like the claims to fame for this game is that you can. It's like one of the few games where you can wield 4 weapons
Yeah.
at once.
yeah, that's cool.
The monster, I think that was the one.
I just need to check something really quick. You guys keep talking.
So in this game, it's kind of like I think one of the descriptions I heard when I was reading about it online is it's like a wave shooter.
Yeah, it's kind of like Unreal Tournament or like those arena shooters, but instead of playing against real people, you're playing against AI, and you
Yeah.
have to survive a certain amount of time and get objectives, and then you proceed to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds
But
about right.
it basically plays like an arena shooter.
Yeah, the one like kind of unique feature about this game that obviously could not be emulated in a multiplayer game would be that you can slow down time because it's virtual reality.
Yeah.
Well, you can slow it down as per no desire of your own. It just does it on its
It
own.
just-
Well, if you turn it off, you can make it so when you press F1 or whatever key you want, you can slow it down. So
Oh, okay.
I set
I
the
did-
key to F, and then I would slow it down when there's
I was
a
like
hard
looking.
enemy.
I was looking through the controls to try to figure out how that worked.
Yeah,
and
it's
I-
dumb because you actually have to scroll down, but the only way to scroll down is to click on this like arrow thing that looks like it's just
Yeah.
part of the menu. It's
docking points already. We haven't even gotten to what we liked about it.
Okay, well, I
Um,
liked.
Well, wait, hold on. There's a story here. I
Yeah,
got it.
okay.
I know I talked a little bit about the story, but I have here the story copy from.
But before you get in the story, I just want to say one thing. If you have the opportunity at home, pull up the the opening scene of this game, like
Yeah.
the trailer. I think that's what the YouTube video is called. It's so weird. It'll totally set the tone for
Yeah.
what this game is.
Yeah, for you folks at home, Google Firestarter video game trailer
Intro
and watch the
scene.
and watch the scene. Yeah, intro scene, not trailer. It's pretty funny. Okay, here's the story of Firestarter. In the year 2010, a malicious virus has infected a virtual reality machine, the Firestarter. The intruding program has caused the computer to malfunction. The rules of the simulation have been altered in a potentially deadly manner, with the player's consciousness trapped inside. There's only one possible way to escape: by completing the game with a period of 48 virtual hours. I don't know. The penalty for failing to do so is the ultimate one: real death.
Was this game
So-
designed by Nostradamus?
I think it was, yeah.
If you die in the game, you die in real life.
In real life.
That's so deep. This only came out 5 years after The Matrix.
I was gonna say, I can't say it yet. I'll wait till
Can't-
we
you're gonna
say
wait to
things
get
we
it.
don't
How long
like.
did this come out after Enter the Matrix, though? Maybe only like 1 year,
Probably
right?
I have no idea.
I think that game came out in 2003 or 4.
Yeah, so basically the story of this game is like how things are now.
Yeah, like
in 2019.
yeah, they were a little early on when they thought it would happen.
Yeah.
but it's pretty much.
I mean,
that
I
now.
have a PlayStation VR headset now, and everybody enjoys playing Beat Saber on it so much that they can't even stop.
They can't stop.
and they're just trapped in there. And
They
if they
can't
don't,
stop.
if they don't beat all the songs on expert in 48 hours, they all die.
Yeah, you plug in and you never plug out.
Yeah.
It's like dot hack sign. There's a lot of fear over like your mind getting put into the games, and
There
like
was a lot of fear.
between 2000 and 2005. Like I'm thinking there just was a lot of stuff about like virtual reality, like being reality, like all this Baudrillardian stuff, you know?
Yeah. To Humphrey Bogartian. Is that what you said?
No,
Oh, okay.
Baudrillardian.
Okay.
He was like a philosopher
Gotcha.
who talked a lot about simulacrum and stuff like that.
Okay.
And when Neo in the Matrix pulls a book off his shelf to like get out like the hardcore stuff that he's selling,
Oh.
it's a Baudrillard book.
Whoa, dude. I know Kung Fu.
Anyway.
Yeah, so the setup of the game is pretty much that mold. But then you get to the game and the story isn't a major proponent.
There's no story.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It's kind of like
going
the
on.
olden days where like they say there's a story just to kind of get you in the mindset of the game,
Yeah.
and then you play it and it's a game. You know.
Yeah. They might as well just like have a, I mean, there probably was just a page in the manual explaining the story, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else people need to know about Firestarter before we discuss our thoughts on Firestarter?
I don't think so.
It's available on GOG Galaxy.
Yeah, it was on GOG.com for $6.
Good old games.
Good old
Brought to you
games.
by CD Projekt Red.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
Forgot
It's
about that,
all
too.
Eastern European all the way down.
They only sell Eastern European games on there.
Come buy Firestarter.
Except we played Jill of the Jungle on GOG
Yeah,
last
whatever.
week. I think like when we get our games from like a particular service, that can be. It's usually give them a shout out. But let's get into
Shout
what we
out to
liked or didn't
Dog.
like or whatever.
Okay, here's what I liked.
Let's hear it.
If you don't have anything,
Visually okay. Graphics are okay.
I disagree.
Okay, well, I thought it looked fine. I mean, it's the environments were is kind of like a decent like techno punk, cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the difference between those things. I don't know what indicates that something belongs to those aesthetics.
I don't know
totally,
what techno
but
punk is, John.
I just made that up. There's techno music playing.
Yeah. The music is
Music
okay.
is good. Music is good.
Yeah.
Should we just talk about that
Yeah,
real quick?
Music's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's get that out
I
of the
played
way.
I played some at the top of the show. I don't know if Eric and Aiden can even hear it.
I can't
We
hear it.
we cannot hear it.
Okay.
But
You know what I actually hear of it? I
What?
realized is it playing through your headphones
Yeah.
on your microphone.
You guys
I-
want to just listen? To
I
my
generally
headphones?
understand why Aiden and I aren't hearing it, but I don't know how to fix the problem.
That's fine. We'll figure it out next time.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Here's a
Just
song.
hold your headphones up in the middle of us all.
Here's a song from the Firestarter OST. It's called "Connector Living Parasite." Here we go. You guys hear it? That's too bad.
I can guess how it sounds.
You're pretty close. You're pretty close. Here, I'll try to sing it for you. Actually,
Okay.
here's a drop. Bow, 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 bow,
That
bow.
doesn't sound very good.
All right, well, I'll turn it off then. I won't do that anymore.
No. You don't sound good. I mean, I can't hear the music. The music might sound great.
This
I'm just
actually,
trying to hum somebody like some Apex.
I think this music is tight. I think this is pretty good
Hardcore
video
rave.
game,
Hardcore rave.
hardcore
cyberpunk.
techno
It was
cyberpunk.
made by this guy called Moose.
Moose.
Who did the music for the soccer games as well.
Yeah.
Probably Eastern European guy. I'm just guessing.
You know, I listened to Metro 2033, the book, on tape, and every
man.
chapter was split up by like a trip hop beat.
That's sick.
It's like,
All right, I'm gonna do one more song since you guys can't hear it. We won't.
and we can talk
we
a
won't
little
dwell
bit
on this.
We can talk over it a little bit
Yeah,
too.
this song's called Piranha Plant, so I think we have to
Wait,
listen to it.
really?
Yep.
Piranha Plant was
That's
announced.
Mario.
That was released, but Piranha Plant was released for the Super Smash Brothers
Uh-huh.
this week.
Okay,
So
here's
it's
the.
so fitting.
I'll describe the music for you
That's
guys.
copyrighted.
There's a drony intro occurring.
Okay.
Now there's a beat playing.
Is
This
it
one's good. I'm gonna turn this up. Okay. Yeah. It's a here. I'll describe it for you. A very, very heavy, distorted bass line with some chopped up drums. No, not. It's a lot slower than that. It's like very slow and heavy.
Oh, but it's safe to say that they did a pretty good job with the music. It sets the tone for this kind of what's supposed to be a fast-paced, frenetic action game shooter. You know,
Shooter, at first-person shooter,
Yeah.
wave-based. Yeah. So,
what else did we like about this?
well, did
game?
you guys like anything? I'm the only one talking here about the stuff that I liked about Firestarter. So somebody else.
I
must
was
like
letting you
something.
go ahead. You said you were going to say
All right,
it.
here we go. There's a buzz. You start with a buzzsaw gun.
It's called Circular,
You have a gun
It's a
that
circular saw, John.
looks like a circular saw.
but when you switch to it, that's what it says on the screen. It just says Circular.
That's cool. I mean, that's.
only enough for one word.
I like that you can. You get to pick different characters in the beginning. I think that's
I
fun.
like that. I
Yeah.
do. And I like that each one has separate color schemes.
Yeah.
So I picked Cyborg, who is kind of like the big tanky guy of them all. And he has special heavy weaponry perks, But his color scheme that I picked had like caution tape on it. That's pretty neat.
That's tight. That's
It
very
is
neat.
pretty neat. I generally like the idea that this game puts forth. I kind of like the idea of an arcade shooter, like an arcade wave shooter. I think that's like a cool concept for a game that I don't know if I've ever played a game exactly like it. I mean, I know that the Unreal games are kind of like this, but they're not as much like they're not as arcadey in my experience. But I'm mostly used to playing those games in their multiplayer modes.
And yeah, like I've played the original Unreal. Like that's one of my favorite first-person shooters, and it's not like wave-based. Like it's more just a regular, like you're going through levels and
Like scenarios.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the level design is really cool, and like the weapons are really cool.
Mhm.
Unlike some other games.
Some other games.
Yeah.
Which,
Some other games that shall not be named.
which may be called something like
Firestarter.
Firestarter.
Yeah, this
Maybe
game isn't.
Water Ender.
Firestarter's not good. It's really bad. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
It's
But-
okay.
I do like the idea of the game, and I think I enjoyed the first level. And then
That was my least favorite part because you're just like in this tiny little room.
I liked like moving around so fast. I liked when the game allowed me to move around quickly and kill stuff as it was spawning. That felt really like, whoa, this feels pretty tight. This feels okay.
I never felt fast because I picked the heavy.
Yeah, that I picked probably the fastest
Yeah.
class, just based on video game sexism, where you play the female character and you're the fastest of the bunch.
And she's the secret agent.
Yeah, and she's got a thong
Yeah.
that's for some reason
This-
visible,
This all checks
despite
out.
she's wearing a ton of armor.
Yeah, she's like wearing armor and then assless chaps.
Yeah.
Sounds fine to me. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
um.
That's normal.
So what? So okay. So Firestarter, maybe not so good. What isn't working with this game?
I feel like
Well,
pretty much everything isn't coming together. Like the idea and the music is cohesive with itself, but I don't think that the idea comes across in playing it. Like, I think that the environments are too gray and basic looking to kind of give the like cool cyberpunk rave sound track
yeah.
what it deserves.
Yeah, I mean the visuals weren't as good. I thought the visuals were like okay, but not as good as the music stuff.
Like imagine if the visuals were like colorful and bright and like
Mhm.
you're jumping around shooting ghouls and
Mhm.
like I don't know. There was just like
it didn't look great.
there were some aspects of the presentation that didn't match up with like the music for me. Like
Yeah.
it was just so plain when
Yeah.
you're playing it and what the design of everything was.
Listen, I hate to do this about this game's looks, but this game looks drab, unappealing, inspecific. Like when you look around, nothing stands out in the environment. And I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
6 months later, you know what game came out?
Half-Life 2
Yeah. And that
Oh,
game
wow.
looks good, even now, like
Yeah, it
15
does.
years later.
does.
And that game is a very similar aesthetic and theme,
Mhm.
but it's way better executed. So I find it hard to just be like some games I'll be like, yeah, this game is ugly as dirt, but like Power Slave wasn't very good looking, but the aesthetic came across pretty well, I think. That was another shooter that we played, but that was from like 6 years before this. This game doesn't look any better than Power
Yeah.
Slave.
I don't know, like, I don't think ugly is really the right way to describe it. Like, I think, like, maybe drab, but I think it's drab because like it all just looks the same, I guess. Like if you look at any
Very
one part of it,
samey.
it's like this looks okay. But when you're like running through all these rooms that just look exactly the same, and it like
Yeah,
it like affects the gameplay because it makes it hard to navigate because of how similar everything looks.
Yeah, that was like one of my major problems with the game was just like navigating once you get to the later levels and there are multiple zones going on and you have to find this artifact. You have to pick up
Oh, man.
objectives and it's like you're looking at this confusing blueprint looking map,
Yeah.
navigating corridors that are all just gray corrugated metal.
Yeah.
And like you're just totally lost.
Yeah, you get lost very easily
Yeah.
in this game, despite the fact that there's a large map at the bottom left side. And you know why? They didn't playtest this game. You cannot convince me that they had somebody playtest this game, both for bugs, because I found a lot of them, but also just because like any playtester who didn't design these levels would get confused as to where they were using the map, because the map was just this weird like it was like a blueprint of the level,
Yeah.
but it's like the levels are tiered. There's like a first floor and a second floor,
Yeah.
and there's doors, and the map just doesn't show any of that. The map is like just like a red blinking thing, that's an enemy. Oh, that yellow blinking thing, that's you. You
Yeah.
know, like it's just like moving around with the map was really difficult, which is supposed to help not have the experience Aiden was just describing.
Yeah, even the map for like Doom was better than this game. Like, and that's a very simple map, but it worked. Like this map was just too complicated and also at the same time not giving you enough information.
You know, it's
Yeah.
bad when we're comparing it to games that came out a decade prior.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say I feel like maps had been pretty well figured out like 10 years before this game
Yeah,
came out.
I mean it's the map. They've been figured out for
Video
a
game
long time.
maps.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
this is like, I imagine that if you were able to access the debug menu of any shooter game that came out from like 2000 to 2008, I bet you'd just be able to set up settings to get this kind of map. I'm dead serious. I bet
Yeah.
you could. Like, I bet you this is just like a standard thing in this engine or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, really just the whole like structure of the game was really disappointing. Like, you know, when I play an old first person shooter, I want like cool level design. I want cool guns. I want cool enemies.
Interesting
and
aesthetics.
Interesting aesthetics. And like this game didn't have any of that.
I don't want
And,
it to
like,
feel sluggish.
Yeah, I don't want it to feel sluggish. Like the whole structure of this game is you just like stay in the same room for a few minutes while like enemies just kind of spawn in, and they just kind of like materialize from thin air, and you just kind of run around and shoot them, and it's like, what? This just feels like a tech demo.
And there's no feedback for when the enemies are attacking you.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
along with many of the other developer texts that they put in where it's like get the machine gun. It also says you are attacked.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
says that on the bottom of your screen to let you know you're being damaged.
And then when the levels get bigger than like the tiny little rooms that you start in, then you're just like running around aimlessly in these open environments, like waiting for enemies to appear out of thin air, and it's just like,
And then all of a
Bad.
sudden it'll be like get the artifact. And you have
yeah,
to like
oh yeah, that's a really
get
bad
that in
mechanic
12
too.
seconds, and if you don't get it, game over. You have to do the whole
Yeah,
scenario
you have to
thing
do the whole
over.
level again.
Yeah.
I just want to know the thing you were just describing about enemies popping up out of nowhere and everything. Do you know what game does that? That's truly a great game.
Probably a lot, but what are you thinking? Of?
Doom, the one that
Oh,
came out a
yeah.
couple years ago. You know why? Because it's not a fundamentally bad mechanic. It's just so poorly executed in this game.
Yeah, it is. Like
I'm mad.
yeah, and like what? Just playing it, it's like, what is my goal? Like, what am I doing?
Like
Like
48 hours,
when
son.
when I finish a level, I don't even know why I finished the level. It just like ends.
yeah,
Yeah.
just suddenly it's just like, oh, done.
There are many more bad things. Do you guys have any more bad
Oh,
things?
I've got a lot more to say. All right, but my biggest one is this. This game constantly shoots itself in the foot. Constantly.
Yeah.
Like every step of the way, this game doesn't understand what it should be doing well. So ideally, this should be a fast-paced game where you're running and you're gunning. All right, that's what this game really should be.
Yeah.
All right, yet every time an artifact shows up, what happens?
The camera will go over to the artifact and like circle around it for 5 seconds, and
For-
you can't do anything.
Yeah, for 5 seconds, you're no longer playing the game.
Yeah.
What happens when a gun shows up?
Same thing with guns, enemies. Like anytime anything happens, they take control away from you.
And you know why? Because otherwise you would have no idea that it happened.
Yeah,
exactly.
but like That's true, but like having the camera go over to it and like
Yeah,
spinning
it's not
around
a
it
good. It's
doesn't-
not a good solution.
doesn't
It's
like
just
tell you where anything is. You still have to
Mhm.
use the crappy map.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
it's just so awful. Like in a game where you should be moving and it should feel good to run around and shoot stuff. That's
Yeah.
what you really want to do in this game. It doesn't need to be hard.
Mhm.
I just want to run around and shoot stuff in waves, and I want it to get big. I want it to be freaky and scary. Like there's so much license to do weird stuff, and instead it's like let's constantly chop up the gameplay.
Yeah,
So that you're doing so you're just not playing the game so often when you're trying to play this game. Like
Yeah,
it just gets in its own way.
like they're going out of their way to break up the flow of the action, like however they can.
Mhm.
And like even like by default, there's that slow mo thing
Exactly.
where whenever you get close to an enemy, it'll just go into slow motion.
even
And
if,
I couldn't even. I was like, this is
even if
the
the
worst.
enemy is like above you on the second tier, you'll all of a sudden go into slow motion. You'll be like looking all around yourself, and there's nothing, and you're just like stuck there going like quarter the speed you usually do.
yeah. So you can turn that off in the menu, but like the fact that that's on by default
Yeah.
just like shows that they didn't know
What they were doing.
What they're doing.
Yeah, just like why is the slow like even when you turn it off, why is the slowdown to F1? A key you would never hit when like actually playing the game when the game doesn't use a reload function.
Yeah.
The game you can't interact with objects. Like every button around like the normal arrows that you'd use to move is free to use.
Yeah.
And they don't use it to like let you switch weapons or let you like slow down time.
Yeah.
Evidently there's 5 special abilities. Did anyone unlock any other
I
ones?
had
have no idea.
invisibility, and I used it, and like the appearance of your character doesn't change. Just a bar shows up on the bottom of your screen that says invisibility. So
Yeah,
it's not like your
lazy.
gun is see-through or something when you're looking at it. It's just like exactly the same, except enemies don't see you for that brief period.
Lazy.
Lazy.
Another
Wrong.
thing, this game is
Bad.
buggy. This
Yeah,
game.
I didn't. What are your bugs?
All right, so in the second level, when that flamethrower guy comes up,
Flamer.
flamer, I died 2 times, and then I gave up on this game because like I tried that level 3 times, and one of the times the guy barely killed me. I was just trying to shoot him with my shotgun. I got too close. He flamed me. I died. The other 2 times, I killed him. And then I was standing still, far away from the fire, and then all of a sudden the game clipped through the floor. I fell, and it said game over. It happened twice, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this again because this is like the very end of the level. I had to work all like that good 10 minutes to get there.
Did you pick up the rocket launcher?
I did.
The game told you to pick it up and use it on the flamer, and you didn't use it?
I did. I slowed down time the 3rd time, and that made
Oh.
it really easy to hit him.
Okay. You said you were using a shotgun. Shotgun is...
The first time I
Yeah.
was trying to shoot him with the shotgun because I ran out of bullets on my heavy machine gun. It's just like with some games, you can tell like they set out to achieve certain goals, and they might have fallen a little bit short of those goals, but there's like noteworthy things about them that make them good. With Firestarter, it feels like this game has a clear set of goals it's trying to achieve, and it constantly is like impeding itself from achieving those goals.
You know what it kind of feels like to me is like some developers coming together with something and they have nothing planned and they're just like throwing crap at the wall, see if it
Yeah.
sticks. Like
Yeah,
we like first-person shooters, we like sci-fi, we like dystopian stuff.
slow motion is big in games right
Yeah,
now.
we like-
Let's put that in.
We like the Matrix.
Max Payne.
And let's throw them all at the wall. Who cares what kind of game it is? We like these things. And then they put it out and they make you suffer. They make you suffer through it.
They're suffering.
And they suffered to make it.
Like
did.
this game just like is not just a game that doesn't pass the passage of time well. This is just a game that feels like even in 2004 this is a hunk of junk.
Yeah, totally. Well, why don't we go and review this?
Yeah.
Talk about some review scores here because you got to score it. People, you need to
Let people know what you really think.
put some numbers on it, right?
Yeah.
I have a review that I pulled here from GameSpot.com,
Ooh.
written March 8, 2004 by Scott Osborne. And he says
Oz.
Scott the Oz.
the first sentence of his review is Firestarter is pure nonsense. And
Good
then
start.
the last sentence is Firestarter is a decent shooter, but it lacks the imagination and polish that separate competent games from the ones you just can't put down.
It's not competent.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
And
Oz.
he gave it a 6.2 out of 10. Pretty high. I'd say that's high.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
That's like John's Jill of the Jungle score right there.
Yeah, I'd say this is on the high end of what all we're about to give it. Eric, what do you have to say about Firestarter?
I came in thinking I might give this a 2 out of 5. and I talked myself down.
Oh boy,
This
3 out of
is
5.
this is a cool one flamer setting the floor on fire out of 5.
All right,
I
there you
just
have
think
it.
that this game it's just terrible. There's just not anything fun about this game. Like I don't understand. There's nothing going back to this game that makes it worthwhile to invest any time in. Don't pay the $6 for it on GOG Galaxy. That's all I'm saying.
What if the flamer set the floor on fire, and that's why you were able to clip through it? That would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be like Far Cry 2.
that'd be back to my comment about them not having any testers.
I give this game a 1 out of 5 also. I don't think there was anything redeeming about this game, though I did like my cyborg character model.
Yeah, I mean the character models are cool. I also hated this game. Was not worth the $6 that I paid for out of pocket for it. But you know what happens. Just not really anything going for it at all that grabbed me. It's really not fun. Also, I was having problems with my mouse. Like, did you guys have, Eric? Did you have mouse issues with the mouse look?
It was super sensitive at first, but I just turned on the sensitivity.
Yeah,
and
Mine
it
was
fine.
just like really
That
jittery.
was my only
and
thing
weird.
too. It's like 100 mouse sensitivity, 100 mouse acceleration. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty wild to think that that's the default setting. That's
yeah,
like
you like launch it and you're like, woo.
But yeah, it just felt like Eric said, they were really just sabotaging themselves with a lot of the design choices they made in this game. On top of the fact that it was already just like kind of a like boring idea, just like shooting waves of enemies from room to room, and then on top of that, there's all these just like bad design choices. So really bad game. I'd give it a 2.8 out of 10 because the music is good.
that's higher than a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, a little bit higher.
I wonder if that's the lowest you've done.
Oh, I've done lower than that. I gave Shaq Fu like a 0 or something. I don't know.
This is definitely the first true contender for worst game of the year.
Yeah, of the 3 games we've played so far this year,
4.
4 games. This is definitely the worst one.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to talk about the news?
Let's do the news.
Let's
right.
do the
Here
news.
it comes.
We're just sitting here in silence.
Did you guys hear that intro?
No.
Whoops, I restart. I do that every time. I'm going to restart that every time accidentally.
Yeah, it was like we just sat there in complete silence while that was going on.
All right. I don't really like this magazine that I got this time because it's not. It's called 3D World, and it's not only about video games. They also did movies. So, but it was from March 2004.
There are things other than video games. What did you just say?
What's a movie?
It was from March 2004.
Is that like a film?
Yeah. So you know, this magazine came out the month and year that Firestarter came out. So we're going to
Cool.
talk about some news from then.
All right, March 2004.
Not really like headlines, just kind of like articles. I'll try to convey these as best I can. Do you guys want to hear about the games that stole the show at E3?
Yes.
2004.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go. The games include Metal Gear Solid 3.
That's a great game.
I know we've had games from 2004 before, and we've talked about how like 2004
Watershed
was
game.
pretty insane.
Yeah.
They had Metal Gear Solid 3, Halo 2,
I remember when Halo 2 came out. I got it on release night.
Gran Turismo 4 was there.
That's a good game.
Here we go. The Xbox 2 is unlikely to be rolled out before autumn 2005.
Correct.
The Xbox 2, everybody knows that's what it was called.
Yes.
Um,
Everyone forgets that there was actually
And-
359 Xboxes before the
Now
Xbox
I'm-
360.
yeah, true. Now I'm clapping my hands and rubbing them together. Can you hear that? We're
Yeah.
going to talk about first-person shooters at E3. You guys want to know about those?
Halo 2.
Halo 2. I already
oh,
said that
baby.
one. Okay, here we go. Half-Life 2.
What was that?
Half-Life 2.
What was that?
Doom 3.
Ooh, Doom 3. Not a bad game.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was okay. A lot of people didn't like it. Mercenaries. That's a good game.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a first-person shooter, but Mercenaries was a lot of fun.
That's like a third-person shooter, right? Kind of like
Yeah, it's-
taking advantage of the Grand Theft
It was
Auto wave.
kind of ahead of its time, I think. Like, it feels like,
That'd be a good Pixel Report game. Let's not talk about it anymore.
yeah, that would be a good one. Resident Evil 4.
Oh
In your
man.
Japanese games.
Oh, 2004. Best year.
Final Fantasy 12, which did not come out in 2004. I don't know if Resident Evil 4 did either. I think that was 2005.
I think the GameCube version came out in 2004 and the PS2 version came out in 2005. I could be wrong. I really could be
I'm
wrong
gonna look
here.
it up. I think it's 2005.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it came out like right away, 2005, January.
Yeah, that's right. I remember getting it in
'cause-
winter for the GameCube.
Because now they release everything in January.
Um,
Oh yeah,
Capcom.
RE2 came out in January too.
Nintendo, if you're into Nintendo, they got a Star Fox game coming out. I don't know what that would have been.
Star Fox Adventures, not very good.
3D one.
That'll be a game Alec will pick in like a month.
Oh, it says the Nintendo stand from E3 2004 included a remake of Star Fox. Because Star Fox Adventure, that would have been out already.
Would it?
Yeah, that came out like earlier.
A remake of Star Fox for like the
I don't know if that ever-
DS?
I don't know. I don't know
Maybe
if that
the
ever came
Nintendo
out.
DS. I don't know.
And then footage of a new Legend of Zelda, so Twilight Princess.
Yeah, Twilight Princess, which came out in 2006. It was delayed because
Something
it
like
came
that.
out. It dropped with the Wii. They did the weird thing they also did with Breath of the Wild, where they released the Zelda on like the same game on two different consoles at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, how about Shrek 2?
I'm trying to remember. If
Donkey!
did Metroid Prime 2 come out in 2004?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
What a year for first-person shooters!
Yeah,
And
totally.
this game is not one of them.
No, it sure isn't.
But I mean, you got Half-Life 2, Halo 2, Doom 3, which isn't like at least looks good.
Is Metroid Prime a first-person shooter?
Metroid Prime is a first-person shooter.
It's a Pokemon Snap like.
How do you call it not a first-person shooter? It's
Get
first person.
out of my
you shoot
swamp!
things.
It's just not like
Donkey!
because it doesn't have like those types of controls. It's like a very different control scheme.
It's a
You-
But
Nintendo-ized
it's
first
still,
person
it's still a
shooter.
first-person shooter.
Yeah, I just think it feels more like just
Pokemon Snap.
a 3D Metroid game.
Man, what a good year for first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Why has that genre sucked lately?
Do you know why? Because they made them like over and over again for like 7 years after that year, and then everyone got sick of them, and they're just starting to be made again.
Maybe. I know. Yeah, I don't know. I just like. Can someone name me a very good first-person shooter, preferably single-player?
Doom.
Besides Doom,
Wolfenstein.
Doom and Wolfenstein. Those are the only ones. Those are from the
Metro.
same developer.
It's
Devil
pretty-
Daggers.
Metro.
It's
okay.
Doom. It's Doom, Wolfenstein. It's like the stuff that Bethesda's doing, and then Metro, and that's it.
Are the new Halo games any good?
I guess Halo. Yeah.
Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher is a first-person
Stardew Valley.
game. Trying to think.
Slime Rancher is a first-person shooter.
Portal 2 came out like a long time ago. That was like 2012.
It's not a first-person shooter.
Yes, it is.
It's a puzzle game.
It says. I guess you don't really shoot things. It's
You
a
don't.
first-person game, though.
Yeah.
Man, I really
Do you know? Do you know?
such a
go
good
ahead.
genre. I just wish that there were more good first-person shooters.
In
that were coming
Slime
out.
Rancher,
Like-
you shoot fruit at slimes until they create plorts, and then you
Well, that
sell the
sounds-
plorts to create more slimes
They're really
to
expensive
make more
games to make.
plorts.
Yeah, Alec bought me that for Christmas last year.
Oh, that was nice of him. Yeah, but the like single-player first-person shooter, that's like my favorite type of game, and yeah, they don't make them anymore. So
I think they're just super expensive to make. I bet.
yeah, probably.
Someday, indie developers will be able to make them, and then it'll be back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what else came out in 2004?
What?
Shrek 2.
Donkey!
Shrek 2.
I'm
They-
an onion!
That's yeah.
Are we gonna play some
Mike
of that
Myers,
Times
are you
Square
here
music
right
to cut
They
us out?
they have a big article here about the movie because this is just like a magazine about 3D stuff. So they like interviewed the
Animators?
the animators.
We should play that
DreamWorks.
Shrek wrestling game for the Game Boy Advance.
Hey, your pick's coming up 2 weeks from
Couple
now.
weeks, yeah.
I don't know if there's any more.
I think next week's me.
Get ready for Shrek wrestling.
This is a really interesting magazine.
Shrek month, baby.
This magazine, it has like all these like tutorials on how to create 3D models.
That's cool.
That is
It's
actually
more of
really
a
cool.
hobbyist magazine.
Yeah, totally.
Why
That's
did you
another
say you
thing.
hated this magazine then?
I didn't say I hated it. I just said it for our purposes. It's not the greatest.
Hobbyist magazines have kind of died since the internet became a thing.
Yeah, and now that's hobbyist websites are also dying.
Yeah, because of
Probably.
Reddit.
Yeah, because of Reddit and AdBlock.
What about Popular Science? Does Popular Science still come out?
Yeah, I think so. That and like Nat Geo.
I don't know.
The old people will never let go of those.
Checkmate Internet.
Checkmate.
Well, think that's about it.
Are we gonna round off our show with the only good thing about this game?
The music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pull up some of that music.
All right. We'll let that just fade us out.
Um, yeah, so if you're listening to the archive, you can check us out on facebook.com/thepixelreport. If you're listening to us live on Facebook, because we put these, we stream these out live to Facebook when we do them, Sundays. I'm not going to say a time because I don't know what time we're going to be doing.
Flexible. It's flex
flexible.
time.
It's flexible.
Usually announced
Hey,
early in
we
the
got
day.
to say one more thing.
What?
If you worked on Firestarter, send us an email at pixelreportmail@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't, I don't know.
Yeah, and you can listen to the Pixel Report on Spotify. You can listen on Google Play. You can listen on your favorite podcasting app.
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll have a new episode out next Sunday. So
Hopefully we're sponsored by
We'll see you
Audible
then.
by then.
Yeah.
all right, I got music going now, so we'll let this play out.
Bye,
and we'll
love you
talk to you
guys.
guys later. Bye.
Bye.